By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why Australia is actually one of the safest countries on the planet for American seniors to visit. But here's what's really interesting. The things you're worried about aren't even the real risks. Hi, I'm Lee, Australian born and bred. With over 35 years as a travel advisor and tour guide, I specialise in helping Americans over 50 plan their dream trips to Australia. Hit the subscribe button below to be notified when new videos are released on the channel. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking about all those news stories you've seen, the deadly spiders, snakes, sharks, and dangerous wildlife, maybe even some concerns about crime in big cities. But here's the thing. As someone who's guided American travellers through Australia for years, I can tell you there's a huge gap between perception and reality. So let's dive into what safety actually looks like when you're over 50 and exploring the land down under. Look, I get it. You've worked your whole life. You finally got the time and money to take that dream trip to Australia. And suddenly, everyone's got an opinion about whether it's safe. Here's what I hear often from my clients. Lee, we're not 25. We just aren't comfortable with just winging it anymore. And you're absolutely right. But here's what's really interesting. The safety concerns keeping you up at night, they're often the wrong ones entirely. I've had couples postpone their Australia dreams for years because of spider stories, when the real preparation they needed was completely different. And this is honestly where most people get it backwards. So let's talk numbers for a second, but in a way that actually means something to you. The official safety reality. Australia holds a level 1 travel advisory from the US State Department. That's exercise normal precautions. It is the exact same as the travel advisory is for Canada or the UK. Australia's crime rate, it's lower than most major US cities you'd visit without even thinking twice. Australia's cities offer well-lit streets and active nightlife with a strong police presence, allowing visitors to walk safely after dark. Statistically, Australia is safer than many places Americans travel to. We're talking safer than San Francisco, Denver, even Nashville. One reason Australia is considered safer than America is because of its very strict gun laws. Gun-related incidents are very low in Australia as a result. But here's what the statistics don't tell you. Australians have this cultural thing about looking out for each other, especially seniors. I've watched Aussie strangers help my clients with heavy bags, give directions, and even escort them to the right train platform. Australians are, for the most part, a really friendly and welcoming group of people. Now, about that wildlife so many are terrified of. In 30 years of living and guiding travellers here, I've had exactly 0 clients encounter a dangerous spider, snake, or shark. That's right, 0. Honestly, unless you specifically go looking, you are not remotely likely to encounter any of them. Simple precautions: if in bushland, wear closed-in shoes. At the beach, only ever swim between the red and yellow flags patrolled by lifesavers, and always respect warnings given from surf lifesavers, including current warnings. As for kangaroos, koalas and quokkas, while seeing them in the wild is likely on your bucket list, please don't approach them here. Save your wildlife selfie pics for a visit to one of our many wildlife centres where the animals are used to human interaction. Now let me share some of the things you probably don't know about Australia. We have some of the best healthcare in the world. And while we hope that you stay well and don't need to use them, Australia has world-class medical facilities if ever required. And this is where it gets really interesting, because Australia actually has some hidden advantages for mature travellers that nobody talks about. Australia was practically designed for senior travellers, and most people have no idea. Every major tourist area has what we call senior-friendly infrastructure. We're talking about grab rails in public bathrooms, priority seating on public transport, and staff who are actually trained to assist older visitors. But also, Australians respect age in a way that might surprise you. When my 70-year-old clients from Chicago visited last year, they told me they felt more respected and valued than they do at home. Plus, our emergency services, they are much faster than in the US. Average ambulance response time in Sydney is under 10 minutes. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Leanne, Australia sounds safer than I thought, but where do I even start with planning this trip? Don't worry, I've got you covered, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. First, I must tell you about the 3 safety concerns you actually should be thinking about, because these are the ones that can really impact your trip. All right, so forget the spiders. Here's what actually matters. Number 1, the sun. And I'm not talking about a little sunburn. Australian UV levels are totally off the charts compared to what you're used to in America. I've seen travellers get seriously burned in just 15 minutes. But here's the thing, it's completely preventable with the right prep. Second concern, and this is a big one. You are going to be thousands of miles from your family doctor, your familiar hospital, and your regular pharmacy. This isn't dangerous, but it does require planning. Third thing, navigation and transport. Australian cities are laid out differently than American ones. And if you're not prepared, you can waste entire days just trying to figure out how to get from A to B. So what does this actually look like in practice? Let me share my insider blueprint. Here's exactly what I recommend to every client before they step foot on that plane. First, create what I call a safety bubble. And that means taking out comprehensive travel insurance that actually covers seniors properly, not the basic stuff that leaves you hanging. I have provided a travel insurance link you can check out in the description below this video. Second, I provide them with a preloaded emergency contact list, including English-speaking doctors and 24-hour pharmacies. Thirdly, I also provide a cultural safety briefing to match my clients' exact itineraries. Things like which areas of cities to avoid after dark, how to read Australian street signs, and even how to interact with local cultures. Most travel advisors skip this entirely, but it's actually the most valuable part of trip preparation. There's one thing that ties all of this together, and it's probably not what you're expecting. Look, I could keep going with safety tips all day, but honestly, the best safety strategy is proper planning with someone who knows Australia inside and out. So now that you know Australia is absolutely safe for American seniors, you're probably wondering what comes next, right? I created a complete starter guide playlist on YouTube called Start Here, Your Australia Travel Guide for American Seniors. The videos on the playlist will walk you through all of the things you need to know to begin planning your dream trip. New videos are added each week. Click right up here or use the link in the description below to access the playlist next, because honestly, the safety question was just the beginning. Let's get you from dreaming to actually booking that flight. Drop a comment below and tell me your biggest safety concern about Australia. I go through every single one and often turn them into future videos. And if you would like personalised assistance with actual planning and would like to work with me, I offer safety consultations where we map out your entire trip with safety as the foundation. You'll find a link to my website with my contact details in the description below this video. Remember, Australia isn't just safe for American seniors, it's welcoming, it's accessible, and it's absolutely worth the trip. Don't let unfounded fears keep you from the adventure you've earned. Your time to start planning your visit to Australia is now. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.